All right. Good morning and welcome to our class today on how to optimize your website for maximum lead flow and conversions. I'm Jennifer Goddard. I'll be your instructor today, and I'm the CEO of IMS. And we will just jump right into the training without any waiting around. I'm going to start by sharing my screen. All right, here we go. So, how to optimize your law firm website for maximum lead flow and conversions. So we're going to talk about attracting more visitors to your website and converting more of those visitors into new clients. Before we get too deep into this, I want to kind of give you an overview of how this digital marketing works under what we call our growth acceleration roadmap. So we talk about driving leads through organic or SEO to your website, attracting people to your website. We talk about paid traffic, paid advertising, email marketing, having your website designed for conversion, managing your reputation, having marketing automation in place, and then optimizing your results. So what we're going to talk about today is just one piece of the puzzle. So there's a roadmap to growing your law firm at scale. And today we're going to talk about maximizing the conversion of your website. But I just want to keep everyone focused on the idea that this is just one piece of the puzzle. So what I'm going to cover today is the importance of designing the website for your lead flow and for conversion, and to kind of take out of your mind anything that has to do with ego. Okay, so we're no longer in the world of having an online brochure. We want to design this website so that we are attracting the right people to the site and that we're able to convert the people that visit the site into leads and eventually into new clients. So we're going to make sure that we are connecting with your ideal clients. So we need to know a little bit about them and what messages will resonate with them. And then how we can engage our visitors on that website so that they feel more comfortable about reaching out to you. And that's how we're going to boost that conversion rate. Leveraging your social proof so that when they visit your website, they begin to trust you and you have credibility in their eyes as well as in Google's eyes. And that you show them on that website a very clear path. You don't confuse them with lots of different options, but you show them exactly what they need to do next. And then how to avoid, or if you common mistakes, or if you've got some of these common mistakes on your website, how to fix them. So let's just jump right in. Who am I, for those of you who haven't met me before, and why should you listen to me? Well, what I'm going to share with you guys today is not theory or hypothesis, but this is real world. I'm the CEO of a marketing agency that's been in existence since 1995. Since 1995, we have worked with literally hundreds of estate planning and elder law firms. So we really do know what's working and what's not. We collect data across literally hundreds of firms. We stay on that cutting edge. So what I'm going to share with you guys is not what I think will work or what ought to work, but what we see actually working in real life. Our mission at IMS is to help estate planning and elder law firms grow to 7 figures and even beyond that. And to do that in a profitable manner that is sustainable and doesn't get you all burned out, so that you can enjoy your career, you can enjoy your life. So we look at profitability, sustainability, and enjoyment. Now, I know that a lot of times people get on a webinar like this and they want to bug out before it's over. So I always have what I call an ethical bribe. If you stay to the end, we're going to share with you a download link where you can get some of these bonus materials that will help you redesign your website, reorganize your website for lead flow and conversion. So we've got a checklist for your website design. We've got a checklist for your video marketing, and we have this worksheet for defining your target avatar, which is just a fancy marketing word for your ideal client. So stay to the end, and we will get you that link for these bonus materials to download. So the first question to answer, or for the first question to ask actually, is does the website design really matter? Does it really make a difference? Well, again, as an overall part of this plan, this what we call the growth acceleration roadmap, it's not like the magic bullet, but it's a very important piece of this puzzle. We've kind of designed 9 different aspects of this roadmap. And the website conversion is a very important aspect. But of course, you've got to get people visiting the website. You've got to attract the right people to the website. You've got to manage your reputation. And then you've got to be able to convert those leads when you get them. So it all works together. But this is a very important aspect. I want you to see how important it is. Let's take the first scenario that I've outlined here, which is a very average website. It's not bad, but it's not great. About 1,500 visitors per month with a 1% conversion. That means about 1% of the people who visit the website actually reach out and become a lead. This is super common, very average. That would be like 15 calls a month. And if you have a 30% closing ratio from your internet leads, that would be this website generating 4 to 5 new clients per month. If your average fee is $2,500, this website is generating $11,250 in revenue per month. That is very average. If your website is not doing that now, then you got some work to do to get it better. But if we take an average website and we improve the conversion of that website without even driving more traffic, without doing anything else, we just make the website design work better to convert. And we go from 1% to 3%, which is not huge. That's not a huge conversion. 3% is a good conversion. Some websites convert higher than that. But if we're looking at a 3% conversion, that's a good conversion rate. But the difference, as you can see, ends up at 3 times the revenue of a ho-hum or average website. It's 45 calls, same closing rate, but now it's 13 new clients. Same average fee, but it's 3 times as much. So but just by changing the conversion rate of the website, we can literally triple the revenue that website generates. Now, what if we do a little bit more? Remember that roadmap? We started with 1% conversion, we went to 3% conversion, and that tripled the revenue. But what if we also improve the number of visitors or increase the number of visitors to that website through SEO or even through paid advertising? And we go from 1,500 to 2,500 visitors per month. Same conversion rate, same closing rate, same fee. Now we're up to $56,250 in revenue generated from that website every month by improving the traffic flow to the website and improving the conversion rate. That's 5 times as much revenue as the average website. Now let's go a little farther. Let's say we're in this position. We've got 2,500 visitors to this website per month. We've got a 3% conversion rate and a 30% closing rate. We can do better. And when we do better, we're following that growth acceleration roadmap. What if we improve our sales process and we take our closing ratio from 30% to 50%, which isn't, just astronomical, but that's a good closing rate. Look at the difference. Now we have $92,500 in monthly revenue that comes from the website. And what if we went a step further? What if through sales training and really improving our sales process, we were also able to raise the average fee? So now we've got good traffic to the website. We've got a good conversion rate. We've got a good closing rate. And all of our marketing and all of our sales process supports a higher average fee. Now this website can be generating $129,500 per month in new revenue. So what does that look like from the average website to one that's really optimized, that's firing on all figures, on all cylinders, what we call a 7-figure law firm? You're taking an average website that generates $135,000 a year to something that is exceptional, generating $1.5 million in revenue per year. So I hope you can see from that progression how important it is to get your website optimize for conversion, to drive traffic to it, and then to accelerate your sales process, to improve your sales process so you can close more people and convert them into clients at higher fees. This scenario that I've described actually doesn't even rely on any paid advertising. We can achieve these kinds of results with design, search engine optimization, and sales process training and improving on the implementation. So this is how important it is, guys. This is how you can go from having something that's very average to having something that's exceptional. And it's really by getting a lot of these things right, is following that growth acceleration roadmap. And like I said, there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle, but today we're going to focus on maximizing your conversion from your website. And by doing that with good design. So when we look at your website, it really serves as the hub for all of your online marketing. So how do we optimize that website? Not just for search engine optimization. You can see that SEO is a part of that puzzle. SEO is what drives the traffic, but conversion optimization is a bigger part of that puzzle as well. So just to give you an overview, here are some of the critical elements that we're going to focus on to enhance the conversion of your website. We want to be sure that it speaks to your target avatar or your ideal client. We want you to be very real, to use authentic images of yourself and of your team throughout the website as much as possible. We want to use video and multimedia elements to keep people on the site and to get them engaged. We want to use a welcome video, videos for your services, videos explaining why someone should choose you over others. We want to leverage your social proof or your online reviews to build your credibility and trust. We want to make sure that your phone number is in the top right-hand corner. We'll talk about why, okay? We want to use a web form that prospects can fill out when they visit your website. We want to be sure that we're adding those credibility and authority symbols, like your bar association membership, if you're in super lawyers, things like that. We want to be sure that your website has clear calls to action on every page, that you're speaking directly to your ideal client, and that you're telling them exactly what they need to do next. We want to let prospects book an initial call. If we really want to see those conversions from the website, what we have seen is that a book a call button with an online calendar where folks can book an initial phone call, maybe just 15 minutes, is a huge boost to conversions. We want to make sure that your site loads fast, and you'll see how site speed really impacts your website performance. And then we want to be sure that we're engaging people with marketing automation as our follow-up. So let's start with the beginning, speaking to your target avatar or your ideal client. The first thing is to really sit down, perhaps with your team, and define who your ideal client is. Maybe look back at your past revenue. What types of cases are the most profitable for you and the most enjoyable for you? Who are the people who bring those types of cases, who have those problems that you solve? What are their pain points? What made them call you in the first place? And what was it that really pushed them over the finish line that made them decide to sign that letter of engagement? Once you can define those things, now you can begin to craft very compelling messages that speak directly to your ideal client. And that's what you need to put on your website. And in everything that you do, you need to be thinking, how does this speak to my ideal client, the person I most want to work with? Now, there's a process you can go through. We've put together this worksheet for you. I'm just going to walk you through it. You can download this when we give you those links at the end. You're going to just kind of identify things about your ideal client. What are their core values and beliefs? What are even their interests and hobbies? Where are they in their life stage? Are they newly married? Are they retired or pre-retirement? Do they have children or grandchildren? It'll be different for every practice because who you connect with and what your best staffed and process systems in place, what you're best able to handle in terms of cases will be different, maybe from someone else who's on this same webinar. So I'm not here to tell you who your ideal client should be or what their life stage they're in or whether they should have grandchildren or not. That's something that you need to work through by just really, looking firstly inward. What are we best at? Who do we love working with? And then let's kind of define them and get to know a little bit more about them. What are their estate planning needs? What are their pain points? If you walk through this worksheet, and I suggest that you do this with your team, you'll start to have a better understanding of how you should communicate with your ideal client in your website, on your website, in your blog posts, and in your social media. So I want you to download this worksheet when we're finished and really walk through what are the pain points, what are the solutions that you provide, and what are the key messages that should be included in every aspect of your marketing, not just on your website, but on your blog, in your social media, and in your e-newsletter, in your emails. So defining who you most want to work with and what drives them, what motivates them, what are their fears, and putting yourself into their shoes and having some empathy will really help people engage with your message. And when you have that will boost your conversion. I just wanted to give you an example from one of our clients who has a very high performing website, just a part of his website where he has a picture of his team. And it's not necessarily obviously they're posed for this, but it's not necessarily professional or super polished. It's very real and authentic. It looks like they just kind of gathered together outside of the firm and took a nice photograph. He also has all of these trust symbols, okay? All of these symbols that he has on this website not only send messages of credibility and authority and trust to his website visitors, but they also send those signals to Google. So all of these trust symbols help his SEO as well as his conversion. So if you don't have pictures of your staff and of your team, of yourself on your website, if you've kind of kept up that mask or barrier between you and the public, break that down a little bit. Be approachable and show people that you are genuine, that you are a human being and you're a real person. Estate planning and elder law are very, very personal fields of law. People are sharing with you their hopes and dreams and their fears about their family, about their finances, about their loved ones. And so you may see other fields of law where the websites are much more stoic, much more formal, much more sterile. But in estate planning and elder law, you want to break down those barriers. You want to be seen as a trusted advisor, maybe that wise uncle or aunt. So you want to be sure that people feel like they can reach out to you and talk to you about their family, about their hopes and dreams and their biggest fears, and maybe some of their biggest disappointments. Maybe they do have that son or daughter who has a drug problem and they're worried about that. There's a level of trust that you have to establish before people will open up to you about those kinds of issues. And so that very sterile website is not as effective in these very personal areas of law. One thing you want to do is get people engaged with your website, and so that they, number one, spend more time on your website, and number two, feel more engaged with you and feel more comfortable reaching out to you. Websites where people spend more time, just the amount of time that they spend on your website, rank higher in Google search. So part of your SEO plan, part of your search engine optimization plan, is to get people to spend more time on your website. And video is one of the best ways to do that. Visitors spend almost 1.5 times more time on pages that have video than on pages that don't. So where would you want to put video on your website to get people engaged and get them spending more time on your site? Well, you definitely would want a welcome video on your homepage. You would like to have a video on each of your practice area or service area pages. Each of your practice areas, you should have a video. And you should also have a video explaining why someone should contact you instead of someone else. Whether you want to make that comparison to very boldly, or if you just want to kind of make that implication, here's why you should be contacting me. Here's why we treat people better. Here's what we do that makes us different. So you want to have a video marketing plan to execute on your website. Now here's an example of James's Total Sales Mastery sales training. Remember when I talked about that sales process? And if you improved your sales process and your sales skills, you could boost your conversion rate, your closing rate, and increase your fees. So when we put together the website for the webpage for James's sales training, we included a video on there, why your sales script is vital to success. And by the way, guys, if you are interested in James's sales training program, there's the link and also the QR code if you'd like to learn more about sales training through IMS. And James, you're on this webinar. If you want to unmute yourself, you could just talk just a moment about how you put this together and why you chose to put video on there.
Yeah, guys, super important. Establishing rapport and trust with your prospects is like the very first thing we have to get right. So video is the simplest and easiest way to do that. Some people are going to really just connect with your personality. Some people aren't. Either way, they get that chance to make those decisions before actually meeting with you. It's going to help everything from the website conversion to your sales call, which is what all this stuff eventually leads to, is that sales opportunity. And now you're just better positioned. There's a trust and a rapport that's baked into that cake of when that sales opportunity happens. And all of that, if you're a sports nut, it's baseball season, all that increases your batting average. So the better your batting average, again, your batting average on the conversion of the website, and then your batting average when you get in front of the prospect, whatever we can do to increase our batting average is going to be beneficial and helpful. So yes, sales training, not just for the attorneys. Obviously, that's important. That's where a lot of the money changes hands. But you have staff people, the director of first impressions. Again, to use the sports analogy, they should be Pippen to you being Jordan, right? That should be a great, perfect assist. It's much easier to slam that bucket home on a slam dunk when the pass is right here above your head. If it's way back behind you, makes things much more difficult. So some sales training for that director of first impressions, whoever has a sales touch within your law firm, getting that dialed in, boy, creating a sales culture within your law firm makes such a huge difference. So that's my 2 cents on that, Jennifer. But yeah, video is super important. Establishes that rapport and that trust, and that flows into your sales opportunity directly from the website.
Right. Yeah. And if you guys want to take a look at just kind of that strategy in action, you can go over to that website and go to the Total Sales Mastery page and just click through. James has got several videos on that page. And the reason that they're on there is to help establish rapport and set up himself and set up the company for success once we do get on the phone. So there's some great examples of how do you use video to set yourself up for success. So when you're creating video for your website, you want to have a plan. So you want to start with defining your goals and what specific action viewers should take after watching your video. So I want you to be very comfortable about creating videos, but I want you to start with having a plan and include what your call to action is going to be. What's the goal of this video? Okay. Now, going back to that target avatar worksheet, know your target audience and tailor your message to them. Step into their shoes. What's going to be of interest to them? What's going to be motivating to them? And what kind of language should you be using? And of course, I'm going to warn you against using a lot of legalese. You want to speak in terms that will resonate with your ideal client. Plan your video content to grab attention and to convey value. So you want to do both. And oftentimes I find that when attorneys start to create their own videos, they do very good at conveying value, not so good at grabbing attention. So I want you to put a little bit of thought into your video as to what would be something that would grab the attention of your ideal client, because you have just about 3 seconds to get someone's attention. And if you're just starting out your video as a total talking head and you're jumping right into, here are 5 things you should know about estate planning, that didn't really capture anyone's attention. Some good ways to grab attention are to begin with a story or to begin with a statement that is a bit of a hook. So you make a statement that, and just one that pops into my mind is, you may have a will, but that's going to take you straight into probate, or take your family straight into probate. Because of a common misconception that people have is that their will avoid probate. So you might use that kind of leverage as a hook to get people's attention. Oh, I have a will. I thought it was going to keep me out of probate. Maybe you start off that way. Do you have a will? Do you think it's going to keep you out of probate? Let me show you how you might be wrong. Do something at the beginning of your website, of your video, to grab attention. Never overlook the importance of your quality production. And this is another mistake that I see a lot of times in execution. You do need to put some effort into good lighting, good audio, and professional visuals. If you're going to use any kind of visuals, what's around you? Have you worked on setting up a nice studio? Or do you have some graphic slides that you may show? Or do you have a little video clip? Whatever you're doing, make sure that the production quality is high and shows you in a professional manner. Now, I don't mean that it has to be like a movie, cinematic video, but it does need to be so it's not distracting. Bad lighting, bad audio, amateurish visuals will be distracting to the viewer, and they will be focused on that instead of on your message. So you want to be sure that you're taking care of the basics when you create your videos. Be authentic. Try not to be fake on any of these videos. Try to practice your presentation enough that you can deliver it comfortably without being nervous. So a lot of you guys you're talking about things that you know backwards and forwards. Just practice enough so that you can deliver without those nervous jitters, and so that you appear very honest. Even do some practice takes. Do it in front of a mirror. Make sure that you look comfortable, that you look welcoming and inviting and approachable, and not stiff and nervous. Try to edit. Be very clear and concise. Another thing that can happen when any of us are talking about things that we know a lot about, whether I'm talking about marketing or you're talking about the law, we can really go off on a tangent and go down some rabbit holes. Try to edit yourself so you stay on point. And by having a plan, starting with a goal, and knowing what your CTA is going to be, your call to action, then that will help you be very clear and concise in your video. Always include a strong call to action, because this is why you're doing this video. This is what they need to do next, okay? Then optimize that video and distribute it. One of the biggest mistakes is just, throwing that video up on YouTube, or maybe putting it on your website and doing nothing else with it. Video content is extremely valuable content. Michael always likes to say, content is king, but distribution is queen. And so you've got to get that video out there, put it on social media, put, all of your media channels, repurpose it into shorter pieces, shorter clips. Make sure you have a distribution plan for your video so you get the most value out of it. And then it's also important, guys, to have your tracking in place so you can see which of your videos are really connecting and getting people engaged, and which ones maybe you're kind of falling flat. So you can go back and look at these numbers and refine your approach as you continue to create more video content. Now, what we have for you in the bonus materials is a checklist that you can use to make your video plan and make sure that you've hit all the boxes that your video is going to be as valuable to you as possible. So stay tuned to the end and get that download link for that checklist, which will really help you in planning your video. The next big point is being able to leverage and showcase social proof. And by social proof, we mean primarily your reviews and testimonials. Social proof means that we see that others have tried this service, have worked with you, and that they had a good experience. When we see that others have had a good experience, then we have a better feeling that we will probably have a good experience too. So this is just one of the little widgets that we put on our client websites that brings in their top reviews in live. As new reviews are added, it brings in the new ones and displays them on the website. Now, a lot of times people are going to see your reviews when they search for you on Google, and you come up in that Google search. One of the first things they're going to see are your reviews. But we also want to display those reviews on the website. So we make sure that we have a lot of chances for people to see that social proof. Now, this is just a screenshot of when I Googled my partner, Kyle Kroll. Kyle is the president of our company, but he's also one of our clients. And you see when you do a search in Overland Park estate planning, you find Kyle comes up several times on page 1, but you can see there that he has 91 Google reviews and a 5-star rating. Why is this important? Now, Kyle gets the bulk of his new business directly from his online marketing. 70 to 80% of his new business comes from his online marketing. And one of the big keys to Kyle's success is the number of reviews that he has. What we know about social proof is that 87% of buying decisions begin with research online. And those of you who are relying primarily on referral marketing know that even when people get a referral, they still go online to research to be sure that they are making a good choice. The average consumer, in fact, reads 10 online reviews before making a decision. Research shows us that 88% of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. Buyers require an average of 40 online reviews before believing your star rating is accurate. So guys, I want you to have that goal of getting to at least 40. So some of you may have 10, 15, 20, 25. You're just getting started. So the more reviews, the better. In fact, consumers expect an average of 112 reviews. And this also goes, guys, to your revenue. Consumers are willing to spend 31% more if you have excellent reviews. So if you're worried about where you should set your fees, one way to support a higher fee structure is to get more reviews online. So this is a screenshot from the bottom section of Kyle's website. If you look at this, reviews from around the web, so we saw that he had 91 Google reviews, but if you look at all the places around the web that Kyle has reviews, he has 1,061 total reviews online. A lot of those are on Avvo, some of those are on lawyers.com, some of those are on Google, and he has an average star rating of 4.99. So when people see this on his website, when they see that on Google, they've got a pretty high level of confidence that they're going to have a good experience working with Kyle. Now, just to reinforce that, we have all of these authority and credibility symbols on his website. And like I said, this tells referral sources and prospects who visit his website, it shows them his trustworthiness and his credibility. But these also send signals back to Google about his trustworthiness and credibility. And that helps his search engine rank. So when people are searching for an estate planning attorney in Kyle's area, he's going to come up on page 1. And in fact, he's going to come up on page 1 2 or 3 times. And when they see this number of reviews, they've got a pretty good feeling that they're going to have a good experience with Kyle. And that's why about 70 to 80% of Kyle's new business comes directly from his online marketing. So how do you get more reviews? Let's say you're one of those people that has 15 or 20 reviews, and you'd really like to have at least 40. Well, the best way to get reviews is to ask for them. What we find is that a lot of firms are reluctant to ask for the review. And a lot of times it falls down when we make it the responsibility of the attorney to ask for the review. We find that there's a lot of reluctance from the attorney to ask for the review. Not everyone, but oftentimes that's where it breaks down. The attorney feels uncomfortable. So one of the things that we suggest to our clients is let's just take that process out of the law firm altogether. So we have a service which we call the Legal Authority Boost that includes reviews management. So what happens is weekly, the client firm sends us their list of people that they would like for us to ask for a review, and we put them into our process. And we don't just ask once or twice. We ask on a routine basis for those reviews. And we handle that, and we include the link to make the reviews. We also make sure that we respond to every single review, good or bad. What research shows us is that when consumers are looking at your reviews, they are looking just as much at your response as they are to the review. So one thing we really want to avoid is this copy and paste the same answer. Thank you so much for the privilege of working with you. We enjoyed, visiting with you and your family, and know that your estate plan is now in order, something like that. And people will write that up and they will put that into every single response. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that your response is genuine, that it's authentic and as personal as possible. So my suggestion on how to get more reviews, number one, ask for them. Number two, if you really want to ramp up the number of reviews that you have, take that process out of the firm and give it to someone like us who will really work on it and make sure that it happens, and will follow up, and will also make sure that there are good responses to every single review. If you're interested in that, that's part of our Legal Authority Boost program. It's called Reviews Management. It's really the best way to make sure that those review requests are going out. So now when we take a look at that website, we want to make sure that we've got the fundamentals in place. And some of these things are going to be a little bit more technical. Some of them are very easy for you to make sure are in place. First one, let's talk about the call to action button. We want to be sure that you have a call to action on your website above the fold. We want to make it easy for people to book a call. If you're offering a download, we want to make sure that they have a call to action, a button that they can easily see and it's not lost in text. So in your text that you put on the button, you want to be sure that you're using active verbs. You're telling them to do something, download the report, click here to get started, book your discovery call. So you want to use an action verb. And specifically talking to estate planning and elder law attorneys, remember that consumers may be intimidated by you. They may be intimidated by the entire legal process. For a lot of people, this may be the first time that they've ever really interacted in a professional way or a commercial way with an attorney. They may have friends who are attorneys. They may have even family members as attorneys, but they haven't ever actually hired an attorney. And so they may be afraid that they're going to get sucked into something. They may be afraid that they're going to be overcharged or just charged just for asking questions. So you want to allay some of those fears, make it easy and make it less intimidating. Two of the things that I see, and I've got this strike through these. When you change your button, your sign up button, your call to action to schedule your consultation or request a consultation, we see the conversion ratio of that website go down. So sometimes attorneys will start off with something, book a call, which is what we usually recommend. And then they'll be kind of thinking about it and they say, I really want to change that to schedule a consultation or request a consultation. We make that change and we see immediately the number of people that actually do that click on the button goes down, and sometimes it goes way down, like to nothing. I've seen clients who had, 5 or 10 signups, calls booked every week, change it to schedule your consultation or to request your consultation, and it went to 0. And they thought maybe something was broken on their website. And it was because people see that word consultation and they see that word schedule, and they start to, I'm not sure I want to schedule a consultation. A lot of people don't even know what a consultation is, but it sounds like it's going to cost some money. And so they don't do it. So I want you to be aware when you set up your calls to action that while we're very comfortable, you're very comfortable, I'm very comfortable with talking to attorneys, most people are not. And they're just like, I'm sure there's a trap here somewhere. So you want to make it as easy as possible. Booking a call or booking a free call or booking a 15-minute call is really less intimidating than scheduling a consultation or requesting a consultation. That just sounds like a little bit further along than I'm ready for. And so oftentimes that initial phone call gets them warmed up to where they are ready by the end of that phone call to schedule a consultation. And that's kind of how it can help your conversion rate to just make it a little less intimidating, warm people up a little bit. And then also on that initial call, you can kind of be screening with them as well, whether you even want to give them a consultation. So just be careful with your calls to action. When you're looking for more conversions from your website, make it easy for people and try to be a little less intimidating and more empathetic for people's fears and their concerns about reaching out to an attorney. So where should you place these call to action buttons? You definitely want to have them above the folder or near the top of the page. This is just a screenshot of another one of our high performing websites for John McNair, who's in Dallas. You can see that book a calls right there. It's orange. It stands out. You can't miss it. And it's at the top of the page. Now, people may scroll down to read more about John, but they know where to go when they're ready to book that call. You might want to put it again somewhere towards the middle of the page as people have scrolled down to learn more. You want to be sure it's at the bottom of the page, because if they've scrolled down to learn more, maybe they've watched a video, now they're towards the bottom of the page. Make it easy. Put that book a call button there at the bottom of the page. Put it in the footer of every page. Make sure it looks like a button. And so people will know, people have been, they've been educated now. We all have worked on websites. We've all gone to websites and we've all pushed a button on a website. So we know what we're looking for. So make it look like a button and make it stand out. Don't hide it and don't use intimidating language like schedule a consultation. So just book a call or book a free call, something like that, and make it easy to find and put it several places on your website. The next thing is a little bit technical, but it's very, very important. Your website needs to load very fast. So we're talking about website speed. As the load time increases, the bounce rate increases proportionally. And by bounce rate, I just mean that people click away from your website. And we're talking about seconds. If your load time goes from 1 second to 3 seconds, the probability of a bounce increases by 32%. If it goes from 1 second to 5 seconds, the probability of a bounce increases by 90%. So what is it why is this so important? Well, firstly, you don't want people bouncing off of your website and not engaging. You worked to get them there. You want them to engage. A second reason is this is part of your search engine optimization or SEO plan. If you have a slow loading website, Google is not going to rank it as well. If your website loads fast, you've got a better chance of getting a better ranking with Google. Also, a slow loading page makes you look unprofessional. People just kind of start to have some questions about your credibility and about your trustworthiness, your professionalism. So how do you check your website speed? How do you know if your website is loading slowly? Well, one really good one is Google. You can go to Google Page Speed Insights and just put in your URL and then click on that Analyze button. and it'll give you some insights about how quickly your page, your website loads, or how slowly it loads. Now, what are some of the things that impact your site speed? Well, the first thing you want to do, like I said, is check it. Know what your site speed is. You can improve your site speed by making sure that your website is hosted on a performance optimized server. So that the cheapest hosting is going to often be some of the slowest. So some of you guys that are looking for, $2 a month hosting, may be shooting yourself in the foot in terms of site speed and some other things like security, etc. When you have images on your website, you want to be sure that they are compressed and optimized. Big images that are just resized often are the biggest culprit in site speed, really slowing down how a website loads. So you want to be sure that when you use images on your website that they are compressed and optimized. Some people will get really crazy with choosing a lot of different plugins. If your website is hosted on WordPress, there's like millions of plugins that you can choose and add to your website. Now, when we're hosting websites for our clients, we actually don't let our clients install additional plugins unless we've had a chance to test them. I would suggest that you work with somebody who is a webmaster who will test your plugin before you go crazy adding it. There's things that will, there's like a plugin for anything. Some of these plugins will have conflicts between each other. So you install a new plugin and it breaks something else. But the more plugins that you have, the slower your site is going to load because all those plugins have to load as well. So some of these plugins are very, very valuable and they're worth whatever minor slowness they might add to your website, however much they might minuscule slow down your site load, but what they're bringing in value is worth it. But some of these are just kind of gadgety. They're just like, oh, that would be cool. And so you add that to your website and now it really loads slowly, particularly on mobile. So choose your plugins judiciously and work with somebody who can help you spot a problem, a red flag of this is going to really slow your site down or this is going to break something else. There are technical aspects to site speed that you're going to want to work with an expert to help you improve. Some of those are managing your redirects, so there's not so many redirects. And a redirect happens when you delete a page or you change the URL, you change the address of a page. That will create a redirect. So if people go to the old link, they're redirected to the new place. If you have a lot of those on your website, that can slow it down. There's something called caching of your web pages, and we can manage some of that on the server side. So we can enable caching, we can enable browser caching. We can use something called asynchronous or deferred loading for certain types of code. And another kind of technical thing is minifying the CSS, the JavaScript, the HTML. So some of these things are very technical. So you can kind of be careful by knowing first what your site speed is, making sure that you're working with a performance optimized host for your website, not just going by, I've got to find the cheapest place that keeps me on the web, and compressing and optimizing your images and not going crazy with installing a lot of plugins. Then you really need to find somebody who is experienced and qualified webmaster to help you with some of the more technical aspects of site speed so that your site is loading fast and you're making those decisions of balance between we really need this image, we really need this plugin, and it's worth the little bit slowdown in our page loading. So you need somebody who's technical and experienced to help you keep your site speed really fast. Now, simple one, where to place your phone number. It seems so easy, but it's something that I find is overlooked so often. I can't tell you how many law firm websites I go to where I have no idea where they're located and I have no idea how to get in touch with them by phone. You want to be sure that your phone number is in the top right corner of every page of your website. That's where people look for it. So put it there. You want to be sure that it's in the footer of every page of your website and that it's on the contact page. So 3 places that your phone number should appear if you would like to have phone calls from your website, which is really a good thing. A phone call is a conversion. So make sure that people can find your phone number. I'm just going to show you a quick screenshot. This is one of our clients, John Hoffman. Look to the upper right corner, you see his phone number and his address, and you could click those are both clickable. So if you were on mobile, you could just click his phone number and call the office. You could also just click his address and get directions to go directly to his office. So guys, very simple thing, but it will really impact your conversion if you miss it. So get your phone number and in the top right corner of your website on every page, and also get your location up there so people don't have to wonder where you're located. How far from me are you? How far do I have to drive? Are you even in my state? I've gone to many websites where I was like, I have no idea what even what state this law firm is located in. And I have to dig really deep into the website before I find it. So make sure that you make it easy for people. Everything about your website should be making it easy for people to do business with you. So, is your website designed to convert? Are you speaking directly to your ideal client? Are you using authentic images and videos and photos of yourself and your team? Are you leveraging video on every page of your website? Do you have a compelling call to action? Are you giving prospects the chance to book a discovery call online? Or are you maybe discouraging them by making it hard for them to figure out how to even do business with you? Does your site load fast on both desktop and mobile? And very simple one is your phone number in the top right corner and the footer of every page of your website. Now, if you're concerned about any of those things, here's your bonus materials for you to download. You can grab your cell phone, scan that QR code, or we're going to send you a follow-up email with the link in the email. So if you don't have time to scan that QR code, or if it doesn't work for you, don't worry about it. We're going to get this video downloaded from the internet, and we will get it up for the replay by tomorrow. And when we have the replay up, we'll send you an email with a link to the replay and to download all of the bonus materials. One more thing. You may be wondering how all of these pieces of that growth acceleration roadmap, how they all come together. Well, we've put together a presentation on the web to kind of walk you through how every piece works, not just website conversion, but every piece of that 9-step growth acceleration roadmap. So you guys, if you'd like to get that online presentation, it has some case studies, it's got data sheets, and it really explains exactly how the whole system works. You can just click on over there to imsrocks.com/essentials. And you'll get that presentation. It'll walk you through. You'll be able to see live data from actual clients and how all of these pieces fit together. James, you put that presentation together. Do you want to tell them a little bit about what they will find inside that presentation?
Yeah, guys. So like Jennifer mentioned, that growth acceleration roadmap, that kind of the 9 things that determine where business comes from, how it flows into the office, and then how well it's converted. And that revenue is kind of socked into the firm there. That really makes up our Essentials program. And so this presentation is going to walk you through all of the elements, sort of like how we put that together, what we do for clients. Most of this is done for you. So you're hiring us to really manage this and make sure this kind of goes off without a hitch. And the attorney takes more of that executive role in managing the marketing through a monthly marketing meeting. All that's laid out there in that presentation. I did put the link in the chat if you wanted to go take a look at that. Two things that are really important to pay attention to. One is what our clients say. So there's a whole section there with some testimonials and videos. So pay attention to that. There's also a download for data and results. So just to go through and be able to see over the course of the year, what can happen in a law firm? What are the sorts of results that our clients get over and over and over again? So that is in there to give you an idea of what's possible for your firm. So explore that. If you like what you see, you can always book a discovery call with either myself or with Michael. And links are all in there for doing that. So hope you enjoy that. Hope you can find that very informative. If nothing else, it's more of a roadmap of this is what it takes to have this level of success, and see that scalability that Jennifer talked about earlier in the presentation, where maybe you're just at a average performing run-of-the-mill website, but what happens when you dial that in? For those of you that are, are goal oriented and are high achievers, you should be doing these things. This is right up your alley. So keep that in mind, and hope you enjoy that. Yeah.
Yeah, and watch your email tomorrow. We will be sending out the link to the replay, the recording of this presentation, as well as the link for the download bonus materials and for that essentials presentation. Thank you so much, and we will see you next month for training again.